Very cool. I think I'm recording in 4K, which is incredible. So, as promised, I'm going to deliver 10 lessons on the most common complaints I hear from my peer group. And this is specifically things that I have encountered from my friends in my peer group, whether they're complaining about it on social media or whether I know them, you know, outside of the digital world and watch them going through this. So, these are common things. I don't know why I'm starting with lesson number one, living within your means, but here we are. So I've made some slideshows. I've actually written a lot about this, and I've read a lot about this from other people, books and YouTube videos and blah, blah, blah. So, and I'm also doing just fine in my own financial journey, which gives me a little bit of credence to speak on it. So without further delay, lesson one, live within your means as a keyword, temporary step to financial independence. Temporary. We do not have to live within our means forever. It is a sacrifice we are making to achieve whatever level we've set for ourselves, so that we can then live at our means. Okay, so moving through this, the specific purpose of this is so that we can take advantage of financial opportunities when they arise. If you are living so under the gun of debt, and you have to keep grinding at work and keep pulling in income, or it will destroy every aspect of your life, that's not a great place to be for very long. So we all want to be financially independent to some extent. When I say we're living debt-free, that's kind of a tongue-in-cheek play on words, because debt is not a bad thing, but living debt-free implies that we have some freedom in that debt, where the cash flow or the flow of money is coming in than it's going out. So when I say debt, I don't mean that debt is bad. I just mean that it is manageable and it is a safe and non-stressful place to live, so that we have our freedom. We retain our freedom even with the existence of debt. So the position we should all be aiming for is financial freedom, even at the smallest levels. And I promise you it's possible at nearly every level. So, oh, good. I even put that on my notes. I just started rambling. Yes, freedom being defined as debt-free or able to live on the meagerest of incomes. So, what would you do if you had a treasure map? Pretty obvious. You'd follow it and you'd dig up the treasure and reap the rewards and benefits of having it. So, second question, what would you do if you had a map to financial independence? Well, we do. There are so many people talking about this. There are tried and true methods. There's books you can get at the library. There's people who can mentor you for this. There's countless YouTube videos on it. And the point is that they work. It's a map. There is a plan to get from step one to step whatever and achieve your financial independence. So if you're serious about it and you want to learn some lessons, just follow the steps. Create your own plan, follow the steps. You'll get there. And there is no excuse why this can't happen. I know everyone's situations are different. I know that some people have incredibly hard lives, not diminishing the very real existence of those situations, but almost half the world, over 3 billion people, live on less than $2 a day, and 80% of humanity lives on less than $10 a day. So that means anyone can do this. It is very possible in any situation to live within your means. And I have not experienced life in every corner of the world, so I don't claim to know everything. I just believe that with my peer group, the people that I'm at arm's length from, mostly in America, although that's not entirely true. Got a lot of friends from all over the world. Most of you fall into this category. All of you can do it. So we need to talk about getting started. This is you at level one. There are basic requirements for a life that's on the path to success. That means we need to have energy to play the game of life. We have to have healthy food, clean water, shelter with plumbing, and access to laundry. I'm going to talk a lot about clothing and cleanliness and things, because it's imperative that if we're going to play this game, we need to interact with other humans. So shelter with plumbing, so we can take care of ourselves and be in the best position to interact with other humans on this planet. The rest of this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Things we need that we can't operate freely if we don't have it. The rest is fucking cake icing. Pardon the language, but it's true. I'm going to get to that in 2 slides. So keep in mind, cake icing. At a bare minimum, we need to acquire our hierarchy of needs before we're in a position to level up. If your parents have provided them, you're already in a great place to start this journey by the time you're 18. My parents did. Thank you, Mom and Dad. In America, in this country, certainly not everybody had parents or caretakers that would do this, but a significant number of us did. That's incredible. We should consider ourselves so lucky. And that should be one of the requirements of having offspring, is having the intent to provide for them, so that the rest of that burden does not fall on the community and society to do for us. So if not, barring a better offer, you're going to need to accept a circumstance that can get you these items as quickly as possible. And guess what? It will probably suck for some time, because it means we're going to have to work. Now, most of us have to work, and that's okay, because it's one of the foundational cornerstones to leveling up, and we can level up fairly quickly if we're able to be clean and well-fed and rested and be presentable to other people and have some value to offer. But yeah, I think everybody has some value to offer. If you have a strong body, you can do manual labor. I wouldn't recommend getting into a lifelong foray of that. But if you have a body that doesn't work, maybe you have a mind that does, most of us can provide some amount of value. So we need to put it to work, even if we don't want to. But here's the key. We don't have to do it forever, at least not in the way where we wouldn't want to be doing it. We will get to having a meaningful career down the road. But first, and here's what I wanted to get to about the cake icing. Please imagine something with me. How wonderful and incredible is your life compared to that of a medieval king? What can you do that a medieval king could not? The answer is almost everything. On any budget, any American budget, you can sample the flavors of the world. Okay, a king and his medieval throne, with all the power and riches of the kingdom, could not readily walk to a supermarket with a minimum amount of money and buy fruits and spices from the far corners of planet Earth. Okay, you can, and you can do that on pocket change. You can experience the best entertainment created by humans. The king had a jester and maybe someone to play the lyre. Is that how you say it? You can, for free in most cases, watch, at this point, which is the epitome, in my opinion, of human entertainment, a film. You can watch the best films made by armies of people at the cost of hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's the amalgamation of story, visuals, music, and whatever tools the filmmakers have available to them, CGI. A king couldn't get anywhere close to that level of entertainment. There are movies that can make you laugh, make you cry, terrify you. You have access to all of that. How incredible. And it's basically free for you. You can travel great distances in a short amount of time. Even if you have the biggest pile of junk car with squeaky belts and bare tread on your wheels, brakes that are failing, there's a spring sticking out of your seat that pokes you when you get in. However, the fact remains, and I know gas prices are going up, but you can, on a minimum wage salary, fill that tank up and drive hundreds of miles. So no matter where you're at, within hundreds of miles, there's probably a desert, a forest, a mountain, an ocean, anything you want to see on this planet, you have the ability to get there. Even an airplane ticket comparative to, anything else, you theoretically could afford and go anywhere on the planet. A medieval king in all their power could not do that without great expense and time to get there. And most importantly, you can learn and see anything. And no one in the history of time has been able to do that better than you are and can today. You want to learn astrophysics? It is a click of a mouse away, where you can go to the library and read the most advanced and intelligent people in the fields writing about this. You can learn how to build your own house from scratch. You can dig a well. You can farm. You can create your own food source, your own shelter. You can learn how to make your own clothes. You can learn almost any skill or trade in existence. That is the most powerful tool humanity has ever had, and it is available to almost anyone on the planet. So, how lucky and how much more opportunity do you have today as the poorest person on the planet compared to the richest person in the kingdom in medieval times? With all that, you have to believe that anything is possible. And do you want more? So let's go through the levels very quickly, because I want to keep this video to within 30 minutes, hopefully less. Level 0, you are reliant on charity. But the good news is that there is charity readily available everywhere. From your relatives are going to be the primary source of this. Your parents, your caregivers, brothers, cousins, somebody who cares about your existence and wants to help you out will see that your needs are taken care of. You will have food, shelter, and if not, I think you can pretty much get that anywhere, as long as you're not taking advantage of it. You can go to a church and get it. You should have some friends if you're following the hygiene and you dress somewhat nice. You should be able to maintain physical proximity with other humans, and some of them will enjoy your company. So friends will help you out. This is obviously assuming that you are only taking care of yourself and not taking care of your parents or your kids or somebody else. That obviously presents its own unique set of challenges. In that case, this is going to be a little different journey. It is still possible, though. Okay, level 1, being debt-free. Again, remember what I said about debt. But at level 1, you should be debt-free and only need to make enough money to provide the basic requirements to level up. So I lived in Los Angeles as a young man. You can today rent a room and share it for $500 a month. You can spend $300 on food. I went to a laundromat and I needed to have basic personal hygiene and clothing. So we'll put $50 a month on that. That totals $850 a month, or a little over $10,000 a year. $28 a day to be able to exist in one of the most expensive cities in the United States. But you have to be able to find a work that pays enough for you to sustain that. Now, if we're in a society that does not have any opportunity, that's a real problem. In some places in the world, that's how it is. But in America, not yet do we have that problem. So you should all be able to go out and find a job, or be able to provide some value to your community or to your society that will pay you $28 a day. And I realize the country and the globe is vast, and there are some places that maybe that can't happen, but I would assume in those locations the cost of living is also comparative to what someone can pull in for the day financially. So get to level 1. We should all be able to do that. With a little bit of work and effort, we should all be able to provide some value to our society. Level 2 would be a steady minimum income. This would mean you have a job that pays you a minimum wage. Again, most of us all be able to get to this level. You would then be able to eat and have free time during the day. So you work 8 hours or whatever it is, you have the morning and the night to work on leveling up outside of those work hours. And you may start to acquire items that will help you on your leveling up journey. Again, you should be spending your money, if you're only at a level 2, on those items that will help you level up. So don't blow it on entertainment or frivolous things if you're at a level 2, unless you want to be stuck there. So acceptable things to spend money on at level 2 is transportation, because it's going to help you stay working or get a better job. Communication, phones, computers, education, although I don't think I would focus on this if you're only at level 2, because you should be able to get up to a level 3 without furthering education. There's some timing things here which would make this appropriate for level 2, but don't go to school if you can't provide your basic needs. Don't go to school if you're only meeting your basic needs, but shortly thereafter, if you want to better yourself and learn new skills, that's absolutely what you could or should be doing. And you might need to buy more appealing clothing. So what I mean by this is, again, we have to interact. Almost all successful people have to interact with other humans. So I don't mean you need fancy, expensive clothes. I mean what you can't get from charity, like going to the church and getting a pair of pants or a suit jacket that may not fit, but you can go and get a minimum wage job if you're wearing clean clothes. Now you might want to start dressing for success, and that means it's not just clothes, it's haircut, it's dental hygiene, it's all of those things. But you might want to spend a little bit of your money on that, because if you are more appealing to other humans, you're going to be able to more readily provide value and be appreciated for it, so that we can get to level 3. Finally, entertainment. You should be having fun playing the game of life at all levels, hopefully, but you don't deserve at this point to have any expensive entertainment, because you barely have the fundamentals of life covered. So put in some hard work first before demanding a reward. And there's plenty of ways to get enjoyment out of life without spending money. That would get you to level 3, meaning a slightly better job that pays you enough money that you can live an average, normal life that probably a lot of your peers are living. And it will slowly have a little extra padding so that we can slowly expand our safety net and our financial cushion. But this is also the place where most people get stuck or slow way down, because it's, for better or worse, comfortable. And those people without a plan live right here, and they're in no hurry to move up. So sure, more money would be nice, but why work away my days as long as there's beer in the fridge and enough money left over to go and do whatever floats your boat? So if you're on this level, you're able to rent your own place. You can afford a vehicle. You can buy something nice like an iPhone, and you're able to acquire the things you want with a little bit of time. So you may have to plan for it, but you can save up and get what you want. The problem is you don't want to leapfrog too much. You don't want to just save, spend it, and put yourself back to zero. So I would encourage you, if you're on a level 3, to start developing a side hustle. Remember, we should have some life outside of work. So rather than spending it on TV, which is entertainment, or tuning out on your cell phone, which again is entertainment, you deserve some entertainment. But don't trade in all your free time for it, because you don't deserve it yet, unless you want to be stuck at that level. So you're working a job, and you should have, at level 4, you have movement on a path to a better future. This could be working and then coming home and doing some education, or learning a new valuable skill, or working on a side project. I've done this my whole life. It's a requirement for me. I do it for fun. It is my calling. I always have something going on. Not all of those have been financially smart, but it is a good exercise and something that has come natural to me. And here's what's really cool. If you reach level 4, you're going to be able to do some really incredible things very soon. This is the rolling stone that gathers momentum. Let me jump to level 5 before I get into that. But while leveling up seems impossible to some, the path is so tried and true, it's almost guaranteed. I believe that. You can learn this from any financial, I don't want to call them experts, but authority. Any financial authority will lay out steps to improve your situation. So it is almost guaranteed. And in fact, without the intervention of something terrible happening, like an act of God, which would be health problems or financial impacts that were out of our control, it may as well be guaranteed, and it does not take that long to get there. So if you have a side hustle, that will inevitably turn into a side revenue stream. So you're working your job and you've created a secondary income that requires not all of your time and energy. So this can be thought of as your first investment, and it may still be time spent working, but it may also be passive. Passive obviously is a great way to make money without expending time and resources. The good news is that this moves quickly. Melissa and I, my family, it took us 5 years to save up enough money for our first investment, and that was by each of us earning and being frugal. And when we made our first investment, it drained the coffer. It took us down to essentially zero, but all of a sudden we had this investment. So we went right back to work and we lived frugally, and we were both earning. So it would have taken us another 5 years to build up. But with that investment, it cut that time significantly. And I think, as we were going through life, we were maybe earning a little bit more as well at that time. But instead of taking us 5 years, it took us 2.5. And we got our second investment. And the great river flows from the trickle of many little streams. And so to get to our third investment only took us, less than 2 years. And now we've got that going. So this is powerful. And it doesn't matter if you're starting your journey today. It just moves very quickly once you start walking down that path. And eventually you will hit level 6, which is your target life. Now you have the option. You no longer have to live within your means. You can live at your means. So you're able to set a target comfort level of life and achieve that through a mix of your investment income and or your passionate life's meaning. So if you're working and you love it and it gives you X amount of money a year and that's what you want to do, perfect. But you're able to spend your time however you want. Or you maybe still have to work, but you get to spend some outside enough of your life doing what you choose so that you've hit your target. And we should all be so lucky to arrive here. And I hope most people do, even if it's in retirement, but it doesn't have to be in retirement. You can get there sooner. And that's the point of this. And that's why when people are complaining that they're stuck and they can't get anywhere, it's like you have stopped somewhere along your journey. If you've already made really poor financial decisions, it's hard to get out of them. So don't make it. It takes a lot more energy to fix a problem than it does to avoid the problem in the beginning. But that doesn't help anybody because we've all lived our life and made our mistakes and made our choices. So we need to find out a way to get out of them. So we'll talk about that too. But there's one level above this, and that is complete financial freedom. You are able to focus full time or as much as you want on your life's passions and whatever brings you meaning, and still be leveling up because your investments and or your job are paying more than your target level requires. And you're actively and continually putting that excess into play to create more excess. So the sky is the limit. And you do not have to be a greedy person to be in this situation. And honestly, this is where I'm heading. This is where I want to be. And I want to be there as soon as possible. I don't need to have a fancy lifestyle that's costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars in expenses to enjoy. But I want to be making that much, and I want my lifestyle to be under it. And this is how you create generational wealth for you and your family. And this is true financial freedom. And it is possible. So on the game of life, everyone's path will be unique. All of our goals and destinations will be different, but it does seem fair to assume that we all are called to be moving at our own pace towards some greater meaning, and it takes resources to get there. Okay? Is that what it says? Yeah, it takes resources to get there. Oh, on my face now, up here. So these are the next levels of accomplishment, moving back down the ladder. Not everybody needs a phone and a computer. I do for my work, but most of us need a phone and a computer because that's the ways of the world. We need transportation, entertainment, clothes, a home and home items, and investments. So that's important unless you've found the job and the job security that you know that's what you want to do the rest of your life. So the path most people take to get is they'll get to a level 4 and then they'll start going into debt and pretending that they're on a level 6 or a level 7. But if we refrain from putting ourselves in that position, we'll all likely be able to attain level 6 very quickly. Again, I understand that's a relative term. Quickly could take decades, or it could just take a couple of years. But the act of increasing the velocity is what I mean by quickly. If you're following these steps and you're doing the right things, it exponentially gets you there quicker. And I'm proof of that, and I can talk about how I did that next. And you need to do that without the baggage of debt because it makes it impossible to move forward. And again, debt free, have the freedom. You can have the debt as long as you're bringing in more than you're putting out. So I'm going to tell you how it should be done, and then I'm going to tell you how I did it, which kind of just told you how it should be done. And that is not my brainchild. That's literally my version of what everyone else is saying on how to do it. It's just the method. But then we will look at ways to avoid the pitfalls that pull and distract us from leveling up. So we all don't start with the same opportunities. That's a given, but we can make our own in this life. So wherever you're at right now, from rich to poor, if you're well on your way or you're just getting started, it's imperative to familiarize yourself with the foundational teachings because from them all of this is possible. And even if you're not currently in a position to implement these teachings, it's important for you to be aware of them and the positive and negative effects they can have on your journey. So this is the last slide, and then I'm going to do a little more talking, but it's kind of a waste because it reiterates things. But we're not going to talk about level 0 because none of you should be there. And if you are, you don't need to be listening to me. Go live your life. Good luck and do your thing. Take care of your hierarchy of needs. You shouldn't be at the educational point yet. So go take care of your immediate needs. If you truly are there, DM me and we'll get you a hamburger and we'll talk about getting you out of it, setting you up for survival. We also won't worry about level 7 because none of you are there. And if you are, go ahead and DM me as well, and you can buy me a hamburger and a beer, and I'll talk to you about teaching a class, or I'll pull information from you about how to better teach this class. So I'm going to take a break there because I've got to go to a wedding, and I'll be back to record some more.